What, Stephanie? You already had snow. What?
That's crazy.
3 inches, and it was gone in 2 days. So it was perfect.
But still, well, and that means a complete transportation chaos, right? Because it's not quite the time yet. Or
not up here, really. People are used to it.
Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. We had a massive highway crashes on last weekend because of the weather as well, because of the freezing point. So, and people were still mainly driving at summer tires. Now everybody is changing them right now.
That's one of the good things about living in a small valley community like I do. I'm pretty rural, out from the cities. Everyone has to schedule their snow tires way in advance because the tire places fill up. So everyone has their snow tires on already, because if you don't have them on already, you aren't getting them now.
I did schedule this time the first possible day. Last year, I don't know what it was. I was like, massive brain hiccup. It's like, no, mid-October, why would you change? And it's like mid-November is fine. And then I realized that is not fine. And there was actually snow and ice on the ground. And you're like, what am I going to do?
I got to say, I'm a little jealous that y'all have multiple types of tires. In LA, we only have tires.
Yes.
It's just like, Did you guys get your tires? Yeah, I got my tires. We are live with the community. This is the Microsoft 365 and Power Platform community call with Copilot, SharePoint, Power Apps, and more. Today is October 23rd. I am your humble host, David Warner from Quisitive, and so excited that we are here. As we move into the rest of the year and the seasons are changing, so is our community calls with all the amazing agenda topics that we're going to cover. So let's see what we're going to talk about today. We're going to see the latest updates on community. We're going to see the Copilot prompt of the week, PNP.NET libraries, PowerShell. We're going to see the latest on script samples and Copilot Pro Dev samples, Power Platform samples. And of course, our newest initiative that we're including is the communitydays.org update. So we look forward to that. And then we also are going to have picture time with Together Mode. So make sure you get those fantastic faces ready. And then we're going to move into our 3 amazing presenters. Adam is going to cover manage Microsoft 365 using natural language of CLI for the Microsoft 365 MCP server. Whoa. That's a mouthful, but I can't wait to see it. Then Ahmad is going to cover copying pages across SharePoint sites. And Marc André is going to round it out with quick registration to an event in SharePoint. So lots of awesome stuff spanning the spectrum of the technology that we use every single day. But first, let's talk about some resources that are available to each and every single one of you. These are things like our Microsoft Community Learning Videos YouTube channel. This is where things like this video, this call, these demos, other videos from Microsoft and the community are run and list and live. And so please do go subscribe. YouTube is telling us, hey, you know what? Your metrics would be better if you promote less and you actually put less videos. We say, no. We're breaking the rules in all the right ways because we want to showcase all of you. So go like and subscribe as much as you can. It's a wonderful place to learn more. We've also got our LinkedIn group for discussions. We've got an open source tooling. We've also got our sample galleries, many of which we'll talk about today. But you don't got to remember all of these URLs, just one of them, or maybe 2, ak.ms/community/home and or community.ms. And if you're here, hopefully it means you like calls. Well, we've got more. So our Tuesday call is the Microsoft 365 and Power Platform weekly product updates with Microsoft speakers. So this is unique and special because it's all those program managers and product managers that are building the amazing technology that we love and showcasing it to each and every one of us. And sometimes well in advance. So it makes it very easy to keep up to date. And of course, this is our weekly Microsoft 365 and Power Platform community call that you're in right now. Now, this is happening weekly. You may say, well, I thought there used to be 2. Yep, there did. But technically, it was every week. The topics just flip-flopped each week. We simplified it. We simply just called it Microsoft 365 and Power Platform community. 1 invite, 1 Teams link, and we're covering everything. So it makes it easier. Just know that you got 2 calls a week, and sometimes you got 3. So in the case of the Power Platform monthly call, you'll be able to join that on the 3rd Wednesday of every month. And we've also got our office add-ins. You can get all the recurrent invites from ak.ms/community/calls. And you can also get the agendas from our meetup site. So definitely take advantage of getting that information in advance so that you can be ready. And speaking of that platform call next Tuesday, it's going to include Sean Squires, showing an introduction to Knowledge Agent, content management, and then myself and Vesa Juvonen are going to be the dynamic duo on using SharePoint agents for business scenarios. So that's going to be super cool. Definitely make sure you tune in and get involved. And as you're watching today, you may think, hey, I'd like to request to do a demo. Is that possible? You betcha. We would invite you to, in fact. You just got to fill out this form, aka.ms/community/request/demo. I know it's near the end of October, but it's not a slasher film. We want you to present. And if you think, hey, I don't know, maybe no one wants to see what I've done because everybody already knows how to do it, I guarantee others do not. So don't second guess it. We're here to help. We're here to provide support. Definitely fill in the form and we will get to you and we will get you scheduled. And if you want to contribute to some of the initiatives you see today, but you heard that GitHub is a place of mystical labyrinth of confusion, it can be. But don't worry, we'll demystify it in our Sharing is Caring session. We just had one last Monday. These are live sessions that provide hands-on guidance in a safe space, so we don't record them, so that you're free to ask any and all questions that you would like. And that means that you're going to collaborate with other members of the community. That's a great way to learn. It is hands-on. It is not recorded. So again, safe space, ask all questions. But most importantly, it counts as a contribution. And why does that matter, David, you ask? Oh, I'm glad you asked. Because our community recognition program is here to recognize all the work that you're doing as a contributor. So it is a partner with Credly. We've got these amazing badges, some of which are fun, some of which are a little more technical, all of which are awesome in recognizing the work that you're doing. So get involved. Just a little over a week left for our superhero season and Hacktoberfest. But the Back to the Community and the 1.21 gigabit contributors are an add-on to the Hacktoberfest, so you can earn those for the rest of the year. A lot of fun, a lot of great ways to get recognized, and Credly has called this a best-in-class community. And really, it's because of all of you and the amazing contributions you're making. So please don't hesitate to get involved. We do need you to opt in, aka.ms/community/recognition, and we will make sure that we track the work you're doing and give you those badges. All right, let's move into some project-specific updates, and we're going to start out with communitydays.org, and I'm excited to welcome back Tom Daly. He's new to the team, and he's going to be showing us each and every other week all the amazing information that's been going on in Community Days. Tom, take it away.
All right, thanks, David. Hi, everybody. So just quick shout out to some of our community members that have helped with some of the recent features. So we had things like feedback and data integrity. So Samir has helped with that. Carl Karawani has just helped us with the UI, UX for the global alerts. So that's something brand new to create alerts for your region. You can go in and subscribe and we'll send you an email on the 1st and 15th of the month notifying you of events to speak at or sponsor. Jamel, who gives me high quality QA on the speaker board, Mike Matarani approving events, Martin Rovekamp, who helped with the authentication issue, and then Daniel Glenn with the mobile feedback. And I'd love to announce too that we just turned 3 this year, right around, I think it was like October 22nd, something like that. So huge accomplishment for us at Community Days, and we're happy to keep on going. So thanks for the updates.
Awesome. Thanks, Tom. Excited to see how this works out. And Tom and I were just in Boston together. We're going to be talking about some other initiatives. If you're curious about getting involved, we're going to set up some office hours for you to be able to ask questions of Tom and see what areas he could use support. So be on the lookout for that. All right, we also have our Copilot prompt library. This is one of the easier ways to get involved, everybody, because we've all been kind of becoming love language linguists with Copilot, how to interact with it, how to prompt it. And if you've come up with a really useful prompt, then we absolutely ask you to contribute it. And Sharing is Caring can provide you that guidance on how to do it because it is handled through GitHub. And if you do, you might become the prompt of the week. Dun, dun, dun. This week is Adam, so thank you for contributing this, Adam. Relationship Investment Scorecard. So I won't read that whole thing, but you can kind of see where things are going on, analyzing the communication patterns, and provides actionable insights for relationship management, which is great because at the end of the day, communication is what matters most. So great job on this, Adam. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for contributing this. All right, let's move into PNP.NET libraries, and Vesa is going to cover that this week.
I was able to unmute. Awesome. Quick updates in here. PMP Framework 1.118 is still the latest version. PMP Core 1.115 latest version. We haven't actually released a new version for a while. We're pending some code signing, certificate things, and logistics on that one, but that is being worked on. So within upcoming weeks, we should be able to actually roll out the new versions of PMP PowerShell and PMP Core SDK and all of this stuff with all of the latest updates, including, for example, physical layout supports for SharePoint pages. Now, within the September, this library was used in more than 140,000 tenants and 61 billion requests. One of the things what I wanted to call out, we are looking into building a new open source maintainer team on this one. So if you are interested in participating and you have that .NET framework background and this is a place where you want to actually spend time, we will have multiple MVPs and Microsoft people involved in that team. Please reach out and we will get you involved on that as well. But that's it from my side. Let's go to Gautam.
Awesome. Gautam, take it away.
Hey, thanks, David. Thanks, Vesa. Yeah, as Vesa mentioned, we are also waiting a bit on code signing and certificate changes. So once we have them, we'll be probably releasing 3.2.0 quite soon as well, alongside framework and core SDK. Besides that, there were quite some small bug fixes and changes that we will be doing. So one of the prominent ones was around the set PNP site command. So it now supports quite a few more parameters as well, which you can use that. And what else? We are thinking of .NET 10 support as well. .NET 10 is coming soon, probably next month as well. So we're looking into how we can make it work with PNP PowerShell. What else? Would love to hear from you. If you run into any issues or anything, just reach out to us on GitHub. We'll take it from there. Thanks. Over to you, David.
Awesome. Thank you, Gautam. Great work on that. Amazing the use case and usage of PowerShell. So great job, everybody, for making this an awesome initiative. Speaking of another awesome initiative and one that's actually super easy to contribute to, script samples. So Paul Bullock, tell us more.
Yeah, so Script Samples is a library where you can share your PowerShell scripts with the community. So if you are fans of tools like PMP PowerShell, Microsoft Graph, and you've got these like utility scripts and a whole library of these things, then by all means, you can share via this repository to the community if you want to do that. So, and we are absolutely happy to accept the submissions in all shapes and forms. So, and we've got a couple of new things to talk about. So we've got a new PowerShell script from Dan Toft for finding all remote event receivers on SharePoint Online. That is related to a deprecation, I believe, or retirement that's coming up soon. So that helps you find all those instances, and then a quality update around extracting invoice details from any format using Azure OCR and OpenAI by Christian. So that's absolutely cool. So if you've got libraries or you want to share things, I will accept bulk submissions as well. So I've got a sneaky AI tool in the background that can process stuff in bulk. By all means, reach out to me. I'm available on most social media platforms. And again, a huge thank you to all those contributions. And again, secure your badge. So sign up to the awesome recognition program, and you get a badge for your efforts as well. And over to the next one, David, please. And then putting my other hat on, so Copilot Pro Dev Samples. So this is a repository where you can share your agents that you build with Copilot with the community. So it's a nice little library. It's growing nicely. It's also hosted on surfaced through the solution sample gallery, so you can find them there. Things like decorative agents with API plugins, type specs. So there's a few variations that we support there, and we've got 2 new samples from Akil for HR help desk decorative agents and IT help desk decorative agents, both connecting in with an example to connect into ServiceNow. So you get that kind of example there, and also there's a companion library as well. So Copilot connector samples. There's a little link in the other corner there if you want to check out those as well. So so that's it from me. Back to you, David.
Awesome, Paul. Thank you. 2 awesome initiatives, so thank you. All right, last but not least is our Power Platform samples. And so Kate is out this week, but just wanted to remind everybody this is an awesome way to be able to contribute to the Power Platform community as well. Things like our templates and prompts, you've got snippets and apps and pretty much everything. So it's a great way to get involved and be able to take advantage of being recognized. And again, lots of different ways. So things like those snippets are another easy way. Love all the ways in which you can showcase those. All right. Well, what time is it? it. It is picture time. So why don't we get those fantastic cameras and fantastic faces turned on? Because do you turn on a face? I don't even know what I'm saying right now. All right, let's get this moved over and looking good. And I will get Camtasia ready to go here. All right. Oh, I get to sit next to Vesa and Adam today. Awesome. I love how it's like a awesome. Okay, there we go. Woohoo! Ian's drinking some tea, I bet. All right, looking good. I see Marc Andre, excellent. All right, well, there's Tom. Woo, looking good. All right, we'll give it just another minute. We're doing good on time, so I know Teams has been a little latent. All right, see some more coming in. Excellent. Let's give it just a few more seconds. If you want the opportunity to come on in, I know Teams takes a second to get that camera turned on. Ian's got a hat now. Love it. Yeehaw. All right. Okay, let's give it the good old countdown. 3, 2, and 1. And let's wave to the community. Great to see you all. Thank you, everybody, for all the amazing efforts and progress and passion that you put into this community each and every day. Would not be possible to have any of these initiatives without all of your passion and contribution. So thank you so much. We'll get that shared out onto all the socials. All right, well, time to move on into our agenda, the important part of the call, which is awesome. We're going to begin with Adam, and he's going to be talking about manage Microsoft 365 using natural language with CLI for Microsoft 365 MCP Server. Adam, take it away.
Very long time. Okay, so I hope you can see my screen. If not, then just shout at me or whatever.
I see Outlook. Is that what I should be seeing?
Yeah, when I created this MCP server, what if we could teach our LLMs some skills to do this kind of simple stuff on our tenants for us? You know, every day, probably many of you get reached out by some folks on Teams or Outlook, or you have some tasks that you could just delegate to a Copilot or Cloud or whatever LLM client you use to do it for you. Those are quite easy tasks. So this is exactly why we developed this MCP server. I'm using primary GitHub Copilot in VS Code, but let's open this in a new window, so we don't need VS Code context for it, and I have this prompt already ready for me. So using CLI for Microsoft 365, just read my last email and do whatever that's specified in this email for me. Okay, let's delegate this stuff to our to Copilot to do it using Cloud Sonnet from Anthropic in this case. And in the meantime, now I have time to jump to the slides. And it will let it work in the background. I hope it won't bump me with prompts. And let's see what I'm actually going to talk about. So I'm going to talk about CLI for Microsoft 365 MCP server. So first of all, if maybe you're not okay, that's me. I'm Adam. I'm just a standard dev. If you're more interested in me, I don't know why. So just stop the slide and read it. Okay, anyway, so what is CLI for Microsoft 365? This is a command line tool you can use locally. It's based on nodes, so it runs everywhere on every machine and any shell. This is really cool, and it wraps around basically all of publicly open Microsoft 365 APIs like SharePoint REST APIs, CSOM, Microsoft Graph, Azure APIs, and expose them as commands you can type and run from your terminal, some from like CMD or PowerShell, whatever you use. And it's primarily most probably used by dev and admins and by automated scripts to do stuff on your Microsoft 365 tenant. And it's usually not. Sometimes it's wrapping a single API command, but sometimes some commands are for full scenarios that run many different APIs for you. And you just authenticate once, and really awesome that you can authenticate using multiple accounts to multiple tenants. You're one time using an account or other time using an app with less permissions, which is really important in this case. And just switch between those accounts. You don't need to log out and log in every time. So it's quite a cool CLI tool you can use to manage your Microsoft 365 tenant. And what is an MCP server? Probably most of us know. By now, it's really popular. But many of us use nowadays LLMs, and we have our APIs, which let's say are like exposed skills of our apps. And unfortunately, LLMs don't co-work good with APIs. That's why MCP servers were created. Model Context Protocol is like a protocol between LLMs and APIs, so they understand each other. Actually, LLMs understand APIs and can use them. And we primarily have two types of MCP servers, one that are running locally. This is a kind of MCP server I will be showing today. And those that are running remotely, so usually you need to log in up front and then you use it over internet. Like basically, most of MCP servers need some kind of internet connection. But running those that run locally, also need some additional resources you have on your machine. In this case, we will require Node.js to have it. Some require Docker because they are Docker exposed over Docker. Some require Pythons and stuff like that. And then MCP clients, for example, GitHub Copilot and then you can say it's an MCP client. It uses LLMs and can connect and use MCP servers, and they connect to let's say use MCP servers as their skills, as their tools. So MCP servers can expose tools, prompts, and resources. Okay, and some there are different MCP clients as a result, like Cursor, Cloud, which I wanted to present today, but I got limited in my free program. But I have a prompt ready, so maybe I just show it. And for example, Copilot, which I use in VS Code primary. And then, so how does this MCP server work? It's actually quite easy. It's, as I said, it's running locally. Locally, I need Node.js installed to actually run CLI for Microsoft 365. So CLI is an NPM package you can run over Docker or on your Node.js and over terminal. So I need this set up. And then I need CLI for Microsoft 365 MCP server, which is an additional NPM package. Usually you don't have to install it directly in your terminal. You can use npx for it, and in your MCP client just point that you will be using this MCP server over npx, and you don't have to have it installed locally. It will be just every time the MCP client will use it, it will just download it, install it for this one for this current session, and then it's off, and you have like a clean machine. So this MCP server like wraps around the CLI for Microsoft 365, and then when you are using some MCP client and like speaking to an LLM, it connects and speaks over to this MCP server, which under the hood uses CLI for Microsoft 365, and all of the heavy lifting like auth, which is usually the biggest problem, is handled by this package. So it's something, CLI is already 7 years old, I guess, or something like that. So it has a good history of handling many problems like auth correctly, and we didn't reinvent the wheel here. We are using what is already done good, and that way we can leverage around 860 commands. I think we have even more because these are quite old slides, and you can just use them just like that. Why you should use this MCP server instead of some different ones? Because there are, of course, some different MCP servers directed for Microsoft 365. Like there's a SharePoint MCP server, Microsoft Teams, OneDrive. There is also Microsoft 365 MCP servers. And when I looked at those, the primary problem is the amount of tools they expose. For example, the SharePoint MCP server exposed like 60 plus tools, and the more tools your MCP server expose, the more context it takes, and the LLM needs more tokens to let's say process your prompt, and they can get lost and use a wrong tool. And our MCP server has only 3 tools. We are planning another one, a 4th tool that will give us skills to create scripts that use CLI for Microsoft 5 using best practices. And with only those 3 tools, you can manage everything on your tenant. There is a similar also MCP server called Loka, and it was developed as a wrapper around Microsoft Graph, and it's also exposed, I think, like 2 or 3 tools that's similar like our ones. The advantage of ours is that CLI from Microsoft 365 wraps around not only Microsoft Graph, but others Microsoft-related APIs you may want to use, not only Graph. So that way you can, for example, modify SharePoint pages or other stuff. Okay, anyway, let's go back to the demo. I hope it got to some point. So let me just click those slides, and let's see my prompt. So, okay, it didn't fail. Let's see what it reasons. So I asked it to read my email and just follow whatever's in the email to restart. So to follow, and regarding the flow run. Okay, so I described that I want to read this specific email. So first, it got the list of all of the CLI commands that it could use with the permissions I have. So it's the MCP server is using the account you are currently logged in the NPM package in the CLI. So you can switch to an account that is, for example, over logged in as an app, not as a user, with less privileges, and then you can do less stuff. And so it won't break or remove your whole tenant. It can, for example, it can be logged in with an account or with an app that has only permissions to read stuff. Then it got additional docs about this specific command. So it pointed really good to list all of my messages. So then it knew how to execute this command. It executed this command, got the response, and then perfectly it got to read the email. It understand that it needed to restart the flow button, start flow 1, totally not a temp flow, the test flow. Then it got some additional context about how to list all flows. So, and how to run, how to list all runs of a flow, and then how to, okay, so then it's actually try to list all flows from my default environment. It got all of the response, so it passed the default. First, it listed the environments I have in my Power Platform like instances, and then it lists all flows from that environment. Then, okay, it found that it needs to check the last run, and then most probably got additional context how it can resubmit a flow, and then let's see. And I did try to resubmit a flow with a force parameter, so it didn't prompt me that, are you sure you want to resubmit the flow? It decided that it will resubmit this flow for me. And then it double confirmed, so it rechecked itself. Did it actually run and checked all the last runs if there is a new run of this flow? And okay, and it said, hey, I done it. This is the stuff I do. Usual typical thing of like a MCP, an LLM that could do, yeah. So this was my email. Let's see this flow. Let's refresh. So it'd be like 3 minutes ago. I don't know how I'm already like nine minutes after my time, so I don't have a lot of time. But I'll show 2 more examples and then I'm off. Okay, so you can see 5 minutes ago, it restarted the flow. It did it all for me. I didn't need to do those simple stuff myself. Okay, of course, it can do a lot of more elaborate stuff. And in the repo, I will show the links at the end. In the CLI for Microsoft 365 repo, you have all the guidance how to set it up. Currently, you have guidance how to set it up for VS Code. Using GitHub Copilot CLI in terminal, using cloud, you have 2 different ways. And we are working to expose it over the GitHub MCP registry and Docker toolkit, if I remember correctly. And in this repo wiki, if you're interested in more examples, what you can do, because you can do really powerful scenarios. We have a scenario page where you can go over with recordings what it can do. So for example, you can create a get the total number of active accounts, create a document library, folders, content types, and so on and so forth. And if you are using this MCP server and you would like to share your examples, this is how you can contribute to this repo currently. So share your experience and what you done with this tool, and we will expose it here as a additional scenario. You can also find additional guidance in the official CLI for Microsoft 365 docs, how to set it up, because it's like part of this our CLI for Microsoft 365 tools. And here, of course, you can see how many commands, so how many things you can modify and actually do what is the power of this MCP server, which I think is really, really cool. I also wanted to show you an example with cloud that I was testing and playing just before this call, and I got stopped by my free program because I don't use cloud primarily, so I just installed it for this call and was playing all the time. And doesn't show this message now, but it showed me that, okay, you already reached the free limit and you need to wait a few hours. But I created this, like, create a site. So I left this prompt so I can show you, get a site's usage report and generate HTML report based on my response with some charts and emojis. This is what I love. And it used the CLI for Microsoft 365 MCP server. So you need to configure this MCP server up front. I will show it where it is in a bit, but also how to go about it. You can check the guidance in the repo, as I said. So there are 2 ways how to configure it in cloud. And I will add probably for Cursor, because I saw many folks also use this tool, MCP client. So probably this guidance will follow along as well. So there's a let's say, easy way to just import a file and a bit of hacky way, which I more love. It's more the developer way. So just again, read all the comments it could use. So it got the additional context. Then it got the docs of the actual commands. So as I said, CLI has commands that are like a scenario based, that don't wrap at one API use case. Then it executed this command to get the context, and then it used, like, let's say, typical cloud skills to develop a page, an HTML page, and this is the response I got. And it's a web page I could already publish. And okay, I don't have this is my dev tenant, so I don't have a lot of traffic here with some charts and some table. I think it's not working. But anyway, it got somewhere to the very first start. And I think I have 2 more minutes. Maybe I'll just show it, and won't finish. So of course, you can also use it in terminal. This Copilot is also visible in terminal. This is something I really, really like. And I already configured in Copilot CLI in terminal this MCP server, and we can also use it here. So this is not the prompt I wanted. This was not the prompt I was looking for. Sorry for that. This is the last example. Most probably it would take us like 5 minutes. So I will be already past time. Sorry for that. I think I have this somewhere in my notes. I wanted to show something that it could do quite quickly. I don't have a lot of time. We want to at least leave time for other presenters. So I just wanted to show you that you can use it in multiple clients. And actually, in every client that supports MCP servers, you can use this our MCP server. So here I type that using CLI. So I type that using CLI for Microsoft 365, so it would know that you have, hey, I have an MCP server that is exposing this tool. So this is what the user, me, wanted to use. Okay, so that's why I'm always like starting with the prompt that using this tool, do this stuff. Okay. And just check what sites do I have. In the meantime, it's prompting me, can it do this? And that's why you see those prompts that I'm approving. And I hope in a very short time, okay, it will execute the list of commands and will give us a short summary. So on your tenant, you have like, I don't know, 100 sites, something like this, some of our communication sites, some team sites, and some like, I don't know, some favorite sites you have, and we'll expose them. Let's see, let's, okay, I don't have time. Anyway, you'll, I hope, okay. So you have 200, wow, 13 sites, and these are some sites you have and some notable sites. Okay, so you can see it's working. So already I'm over time, so that's how I'm speeding. The last slides I have are resources. So if you are interested in using this tool, please do follow and check our repository. You have all the guidance, how to set it up locally. It's really 3-step setup: install CLI, configure it for MCP server, install MCP server on your client, and off you go. And if you have any questions or want to reach us out, you can always go over the community efforts like the Discord, or you can find me and just reach me personally. And please do try out this tool and share with us some awesome scenarios, what stuff you were able to do with this CLI. Don't be afraid if you break anything. You can log into CLI with an account that has less privileges. It doesn't have to be an admin account. It can be an account that has only read permissions, and then the MCP client will only be possible to use those commands that read and will give you information. It won't do anything for you, so you can play around safely. Okay, that's about it. Happy MCP prompting, everybody, and back to you, David.
Awesome. Perfect timing, Adam. Thank you so much. So much amazing stuff packed into that. I know everyone is super excited to see that. So very, very cool. And in terms of not finishing the other stuff, tune in next time for the thrilling conclusion. Adam will be back, I'm sure, to show even more amazing stuff. So very, very cool. Thanks, Adam. All right, we're going to move on to Ahmad, and he is going to cover copying pages across SharePoint sites. Ahmad, feel free to take on over the screen. The show is yours, my friend.
Okay, thank you. I will share my screen. So can you see it?
It is loading. Yep, if you just want to throw those into presentation mode, away you go.
Yeah, just a minute. Yes, no. Okay, hello everyone. I am Ahmad, and today I'm going to present a new sample which enables editors and admins to copy pages across sites. But before that, let me introduce myself. I am Ahmad from Campana Schott, and I work as a senior consultant, and I have almost 10 years of experience, and I'm located in Hamburg. My focus areas are Microsoft 365 development and solution architecture, AI and internet with SharePoint Agent and Copilot Studio, and as well as building like enterprise collaboration portals. Before we jump to the demo, let me explain what's the issue, what's the challenge which we have. Actually, managing content across multiple SharePoint sites is always challenging. So we always have this case where we need to have like unified structure, unified layout for certain departments, or if you have like locations, we need to have like unified design, unified branding. So sometimes it's challenging to do that with a solution out of the box. We have this feature to copy pages, but it's only it allows us to copy pages inside the same site, but it's not across or to another site. Yeah, this is, I think, from my opinion, sometimes it's time consuming, and therefore I come up with this solution. So copy pages, and this solution, as I said, so it enables editors and admins to copy pages from site to another site. So you can keep the same structure, you can keep the same web part, formatting, all of that will be preserved. This one, so it will keep like the branding unified across all these sites, make it easier to copy one page from site to another site. So this is an SPFX extension. So there are multiple ways to do it. So you can have it like normal extension on all sites or on a certain site, or you can have it as a field extension inside the site pages library. So let me explain what are the key features for the solution. First, we have copy pages between sites, as I mentioned, so you can copy paste from site A to site B. Second, you can also save a page as a template. So sometimes we have to copy paste from A to B, but sometimes it's also possible we have a template, but we want to distribute it to multiple sites. Let's say we have an event, so we always have the same events, but we need to show this event on the IT side, maybe the HR, finance. So we can save this template in multiple sites. I can decide in the extension if I want to have it as a normal page or if I want to have it as a template here. Third, we can also decide if you want to publish it directly or if you want to save it as a draft. Because here we have multiple use cases. It could be, as I said, the same event for all departments. We just need to distribute it. So I can just copy it, I can publish it, that's it. But in some cases where we need to save it as a draft because we need to rework this page. It could be like, for example, FAQs, for example. So we have it for HR, but we just need to keep the same web part, the same structure, but the IT needs to add their own questions. So we can save it as draft, and the other department can directly work with this page. And lastly, we can decide also if we can save it as a normal page or as a news post. So this is like a toggle. You can decide if it should be a normal page or a news post. Yeah. Let me jump to the demo now. As you see, I have here human resources, and I want to, for example, to copy this start page to another site. So I have here software engineering, for example, and I have now this extension, as you see here. So when I click here, this dialog will be displayed. And on the top, as you see, I can select destination. So for example, in my case, I want to move it to the software engineering. I can click, search for it. I'm using the PnP reusable component here for this destination selection. And for example, I want to move it to the software engineering. So I can select it. And now this selected site will be displayed here with a title and also with a URL. I can verify this is the correct site or not. In the next section, as you see, we have two toggles here. The first one on the left side, I can decide if I want to publish it directly. Or on the right side, I can also check if I want to change the promote status. As I said, when it's toggled, then it means this is a news post. When it's not toggled, it's a normal page. And then here, as you see, we have two buttons. The first, I can just copy it as it is, or I can save it as a template. But let me now start with copying this page. So when I click here, so it will be copied in the background. So now I have two options. So either I can make another copy or I can just jump directly to the site where it was copied. So when I click here, for example, as you see, I have now new page here, as you see it here. So when I click here, so I have the same page. So as I said, this is a case where I want to have it as a draft because the team they want to change some of the data here on this column on the right side, or they might then need to add their own content based on their requirements. Yeah. So now it's copied, but it could be also, I want to have it as a template as well. So I can go back, I make another copy. I can select, for example, again, software engineering. And as you see, so I can click here, but now it's being saved as a template, not as a normal page. I can jump directly there. I go to the template folders, and as you see, I have it as a template here. So as I said, this case might be more common like an event, like event summary. It could be like where I need it in every site, so I can save it as a template. But as you see, I moved this page to the template folder. Now it will be stored as a template. I can reuse it. Yeah. So as you see, so I can just copy paste across sites. I just need to add this extension. As I mentioned, so the original solution, it was built based on the field customizer, but I think it was retired, but now I think it was changed again, so it's not going to be retired. But the original solution was as a column here in the site pages library, where editors can directly click here. This is one way to do it, or if you can do it, you can add it as a normal extension. So you can check the permission. If I have the permission, like I'm editor, if I'm an admin, so I can see it and then I can move it. Yeah. Let me show you the code. So as you see here, I will not go through too much because I think we don't have much time. But as you see, we have two main hooks here. We have use copy hook. So this is the hook where I use it to copy the page. So as you see, we have the context, the page URL, the page name, the target site URL. These are the parameters which I need in order to move to copy these pages here.
Hey, Ahmed, could you just zoom in just a little bit for us, just so it's a little clearer and better for the video? Sure, awesome. Sure. Looks great. Thank you so much. Now? Okay. Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, great. Yeah, so as you see, we have this use copy page here. And I just need to check if the status I'm submitting is done, message also to success or error. But these are the main parameters which I need to pass: the page URL, page name, target sites, and also the status of the form. And as you see here, we have this context here. I'm calling the source site, and then I need to call also the context of the target site. I call both of them, and I need to use this code here, or this API in order to copy the page. And as you see here, I need to pass the context of the target site. I can add the page name, page title, and here I can decide if it should be published true or false, or promoted status here, where we decide if it's a normal page or if it is just a news post. Here also where we check if it's a template, it already also we passed with a parameter, so I can check it with a template. If yes, then I can use it. So I can move it to the folder where we have a template. So I think with the Graph API we can do it in a different way, but the way I'm following here, I just check if there's a template folder. I just move it directly to this folder, then it will be taken as a template in this target site. As you see here, I just check here if we already have a folder for this template. We have another hook, as you see here. I used it here where I check for example, this template, so I can map the templates here. As I said, this is client-side solution, and backend solution, I will do it differently. I would check if it is if this template folder is created or not. I can create it with PowerShell maybe, but I think this case is client-side solution. I wanted to just keep it simple here. But as I said, we have two main hooks: the localization hook for templates and the copy page. And I just move this page to the template folder if it's already existing there. The main code, as you see, we have the page component. So I just have the dialog. And I have a form here where I have all the statuses which I need. As I said, I can publish, promote, template, all what I need here. So I can just define it here. Let me jump back to the solution. So which is the presentation. As you see, there are multiple ways to do it. So I think it's not one way. Just I want it for the community. It's easier to have it in one package, one solution. You just add it to the tenant, and you have it here. This is one way to do it. But there are also other ways to do it. I can use also Power Automate. You can use the same extension, but instead of this use copy page hook, you can create another hook to trigger a Power Automate. It could be the case where you want an approval process in the middle, or you need to communicate with Microsoft 365 services, or to send an email when it's copied. You want to send an email to the person. It could be that you need to follow a certain process. So I think it would be better to use Power Automate here, not just directly on the client side. But as I said, also we have always pros and cons here. So I think it will be a little bit slower because you need to send the request, wait to the maybe it could be an email. You will be notified with the email. It works a little bit differently. My preferred way would be Azure backend. So to use like Azure function in the backend. It is scalable, so you can create for like one target site or multiple sites, not one site. So you can make it a little bit more scalable. I think my opinion is better. And this is how it could be done in productive environment. I would do it this way. So we have the SPFX app. I click on it. The Azure Function app would be triggered. And this Azure Function app, I can copy it to one site or multiple sites. Or it could be like I can define multiple groups, for example, like for departments, locations, it will be copied to a certain set of sites or one site or multiple sites. Also, I would do also to add like logs, also to log everything what's happening, even if it's successful. There's an error, just to have something like to audit this thing here. So as I said, my preferred way to be better to use backend. this is what I would do on production environment. Yeah. If you want to check the sample, it's already existing on the PMP repository. You can just use this link here to check it. And that's all from my side. Thank you.
Ahmad, awesome stuff. Very, very cool. Really appreciate you sharing that. Marc André, feel free to take on over the screen while I get you introduced. But Ahmad, thank you. Yeah, really cool. Love showing how it looks so integrated into the application. Very seamless, and really helps out in making those changes. And again, thank you for sharing it in the community GitHub repository. So great job. All right. Well, our final presentation of the day is Marc André. He's going to cover quick registration to an event in SharePoint. Marc André, take it away.
Yeah, thank you, David. So amazing presentation so far. Today I have only a very small, quick one, but we will see. So hello, everyone. I'm happy to be here again on the call. I will speed up a little bit because of the time. And I'm happy to be here to show you my little small SharePoint framework extension. Last week, on Wednesday, was my first time presenting on the Power Platform community call, and maybe some of you already know me, but for everyone who did not attend, I want to introduce myself before I start with my presentation. As you know, my name is Marc André Schröder-Zhou, and I live in Germany. On the slide, you see some basic facts about me. I've been working as freelancer since 2011, and I do IT consulting in different fields. My passions are developing applications as full-stack developer, mainly with ASP.NET Core, Node.js, React, and Azure, as well as introducing SharePoint and other related Office 365 products to companies to help them to get the full advantage out of these products, especially these days with SharePoint Online, Copilot, and AI. So besides this, I'm working as a lecturer for the University of Applied Science in Frankfurt, where I'm teaching computer science. So that's enough about me. So I will speak a little bit slower now. Now let's begin with the presentation topic for today. First, I want to give you a short overview about the SPFX framework and which different solution types exist for everyone who is not familiar with or new to the SPFX framework. And regarding Wes and David, there are always new people here in the call with different knowledge, and maybe someone is just starting with SharePoint and the SharePoint framework. So let's begin with the web parts. I think it's the most used solution type. With web parts, you can build and integrate your own logic and UI to SharePoint in a secure and reliable way. Out of the box, you have the classic deployment option for test QA in product environments with version control. This is actually true for all kind of solution types. Then we have the field customizer. It's a great option to change the appearance of the fields, and very important, still fully supported. It's not retired. So then in case you need additional commands, in the menus or in command bars, command sets comes to your rescue. And do you want to replace complete SharePoint standard forms without the use of Power Canvas apps, then use the form customizer. So then at the end, at least, we have the application customizer. Actually, this kind of extension was, I think, mainly invented to extend the footer and header with custom UI design layout. But you can also do some tweaking in other areas, as I did for my quick register app extension, as I'm going to show you in the demo soon. Next, I want to describe the main goals that some of my customers defined for the quick register extension. At first, they wanted to stick to the original event page because everything was or is fine with the page, and the page contained all the important information for an event. But the registration procedure for an event should be improved and possible with only one click. The same is true for unregistered. Each registered user should be able to unregister very easily, also with only one click. Everyone should be able to see who is registered already. Unfortunately, in some companies, this information should be kept confidential, but for this, I have another solution. And they want an ICL support, but the ICL support is already available. It's a little link here where you can save the calendar entry to your personal calendar. So, and all the desired functions should be available on all calendars. So let's dig a little bit deeper into the solution and how it works. The application customizer is originally a little extension to inject your own UI to either the header or the footer. That's why the internal enumeration placeholder name contains only two values, bottom and top. And the screenshot shows the position of the placeholders here in the screenshot. If an application customizer extension is active on a SharePoint site, the extension is executed on all content pages. But it is not mandatory to use any of the available placeholders. In my extension, I don't need any of the placeholders. I just need the extension because with the help of this extension, I'm able to execute code on any page. This is similar to the script editor web part that I think some of you used for sure in the past in SharePoint Server to add custom script to a single content page. This means I just use the extension here to inject my custom logic into a page. The target of the extension is the event detail page. You can see the page on the slide here. There's the detail page. The data for the events are saved in a SharePoint list as usual. The list contains a field called participants. In German, it's Teilnehmer, it's participants, to manage all registered users for an event. The extension uses this field to update the user information programmatically. So how this works? First, the extension checks to make sure that the current page has a particular type. In my case, it should be an event page. If this is the case, the extension tries to find a specific HTML container on the page. Inside the container, the extension adds a new HTML button to the container. So please note my little disclaimer here. Of course, the SharePoint page can be changed in future releases, so it's not, you must keep this in mind. Then the extension loads the list item that belongs to the currently shown event. To decide which button should be used, register or unregister, the extension checks if the user is already in the field participants. If the user is not in the field, then the register button is added to the page, otherwise the unregister button. The rest of the implementation is straightforward. Both buttons update the field participants. Either the user is added or removed from the field. Unfortunately, I need to reload the page to update the participants field output on the page. This can be optimized, and I plan to add a function to output the information programmatically so that no full post-back refresh is necessary. So let me quick show you the application in action. This is a calendar. So then I open it. And you can see an additional button named registers is added besides the out-of-the-box button show all events. Then now I click on the button and receive the confirmation mail, hopefully. So this means thank you for your registration. And the page reloads and I'm on the participants list. Now I'm here. And now the button changed, the text changed. I have now unregistered here and I click on unregistered. And I have a confirmation that I have unregistered from the event and the page reload again. So very small extension, but I think very helpful. So that's all, very small, but very helpful. So let me show you the implementation. I go to GitHub. And that's solution repository. And as I learned last week in the sharing community call with David, I can use the online editor here very fast. So I
hey, Marc André, super cool. Can you just zoom in a bit too when you get
the
code look? Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
Why it's here not working? The zooming. I don't know.
That's not bad. It actually looks better.
Looks better?
Yeah, you're good.
Changed. Okay. So also, at first I check here if the extension is executed on the event page. If yes, I go further and this is check here if I'm on the event page. And then I check the container, as I said, if I can find this container with section and data attribute data automation ID. Keep in mind the disclaimer, the page structure can be changed in future releases, of course. Okay, after that, I pull all the information about the SharePoint list, like the GUID and the list item ID from the query string. You can see here, then I have the item ID and the list item ID, and I save the current user in a variable here for easier access later. Next, I do a validation check if I could find the list item, GUID ID and ID. If everything is okay, the process can here continue. This condition here. Then I create a new anchor text. This anchor text is actually the button that you saw on the UI. After that, I load the current list item to check the register status of the user. This is this one. This is just loading the list item that belongs to the calendar entry. If the user inside the participant collection, then I add the button for unregister. Otherwise, I add the register button. Yes, this condition here. I check here if the user is in the collection already. If the user in the collection, I add because I set the text to unregister. In the other case, I set the text for the button to just register. Both buttons have a click event assigned and both call the method manage user to appointment. The only difference is the value of the last parameter. You see it here. This is the call to the method manage to appointment, and the last parameter is here false to remove the user, and here in this case is the parameter true to signal that the user should be added to the participants list. This means this switch decided if the user should be added or removed. Okay, let's move on to the method load appointment manage appointment. It's also a very small implementation. First, the load appointment is using the raw SharePoint REST API to load the list items data for the event. Yeah. Here I use the standard SharePoint HTTP client to do all the REST clients calls directly. There are many other ways to work with SharePoint data programmatically. For example, you can use the Wave API or the PNP library for an easy access. But when I have only a small solution like this one, a small extension, I prefer this option to reduce the library dependency. So as you can see here, after the data comes back, I return the data as in a strong type. So the managed user appointment is responsible for the list update. Also, this method is using the raw SharePoint API. You see it here. Here, I prepare some config settings first for the REST calls. Then I query the user information for the current logged in user with the REST call to ensure users. This is this one here. Then I have the user details. Then, depending on the parameter, add new, this one here. Then, depending on the parameter new, the data for the participant field will be prepared. Either the user is added to the list or is removed from the list. Is this one. Edit is very simple. I just add it to the collection. And in the other case, I filtered everything here. I filtered the collection. And to send the update data, I call the SharePoint REST API again. In this case, we always have an update of an existing item. That's why I use post here with the header method merge. So because the list item entry always exists because the extension depends on the existing list item entry. So I think that's all. I was very fast so that I am in time. I go back to my slides. And I have a little roadmap also for this extension. What I've planned for this, prevent a full page reload. In future releases, I want to control if the register function available for each event. Then I add the possibility to change the confirmation text for each event, and I apply a limit function to define how many participants are allowed, and a deadline option to hide the register button after a defined date. So I'm done for the day. Thanks for your attention, and back to David, and I was in time.
Awesome. Yeah, perfect. In fact, don't stop sharing it because I think you had a link slide, right?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. You got time. Yeah, share it.
Yeah,
so there's some links, everybody.
Yeah.
Want to make sure it got captured in the video. Yeah, no problem. Excellent. Thank you, Marc André. Great job. Okay. All right. Excellent job. Again, I love how you were willing to share this. And again, this was Marc André's second presentation on the community call. So great job by everybody today. Really appreciate all of the hard work and all of the passion by everyone in the community. The crowd goes wild. You all are amazing. So thank you, Adam. Thank you, Ahmad. Thank you, Marc André. Really appreciate you all in sharing that passion. All right, let's wrap up the call, everybody. There is some other resources available for us, right? Some parting gifts, if we will. We've got our Discord server, which is nearing in on, I think, 3,000 members. So you could be the 3,000th member. And if you are, I'll give you a hug, but I won't be sick when I do it, I promise. So we actually invite you, I should say, to join that. Show your kids that you're cool because you're in Discord, but it is a great one-stop shop across the entire community. All kinds of channels are in there, and it's a great way to collaborate with other members of the community. We'd love to get some feedback from you on how the calls are working, and even good feedback is great as well, saying that things are working. We love to see that. And so we appreciate all of that you can provide. And with that, the recording will be available in 24 hours or less on the Microsoft Community Learning YouTube channel. You can subscribe today at ak.ms/community/YouTube. You can also follow us on all the socials. So Twitter/X, M365PNP, community.ms on Blue Sky, and our LinkedIn at aka.ms/community/li. Our next call will be 1 week from today, October 30th. The next MS Speakers call will be on Tuesday, October 28th. Of course, you can get access to all these calls at ak.ms/community/calls and more. Thank you, everybody, for being the amazing part of the community you are. Have a wonderful rest of the week, a wonderful rest of the day, and thank you again. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you for flying. Thank you.